Good morning and welcome to episode 11 of Engine Talk. And I'm not certain how popular this particular engine series is. It doesn't seem like the videos are getting a lot of views, but it does give me a chance to kind of talk about several different topics all at one time and at least try to keep them short. So I'm doing my old school video angle here today because my primary camera that shoots straight down is in the car because I'm out using it to take fall pictures before the season peaks over. So today's quick video is I've got a collection of engines here on the table I just want to talk about very briefly, and let me just start moving some of them off to the side here and I'll talk about them individually. So those of you that watched the last Tidbits video that featured me talking only about this Saito FA90T and the issues I was having, I did purchase the last two high-speed needles for this carburetor that Omni models had, at least, and they get their stuff from Horizon. So I did get two new high-speed needles which I've got installed in here, and it says here full throttle needle assembly. It says SAI 100T85. So these needles, and here's the alpha codes, Q and AA. So Q is this engine, the 91T Mark II, and AA is the 100T engine. So I think I've even got a video on how to search for Saito part numbers. I don't think I do. I know I do. I have a video that's, how you search for Saito part numbers, and it talks about these letter designations and stuff. Now I believe that Saito really kind of stopped doing the alpha code designation, or at least I've never seen an updated list published for newer engines, like any of the gas engines, or maybe a lot of even the newer, really new engines. I think it seems like the latest alpha code listing I've got only maybe goes to 2005. So I don't know. I think they're still doing it, but I haven't found a place that has those codes published. So anyway, the deal is I got two new high-speed needles, and I went through my whole same routine where I was closing them and blowing through and then just slowly opening them until I could hear air, fuel coming through. And believe it or not, both of those needles sounded very different than these two brand new ones. These two brand new ones, I've got them set to 2.5 turns open from fully closed right now. But these two, within one turn, each started allowing airflow to go through, and then it was very linear, the amount of air I could hear going through there. So I have very, very high hopes that, I don't know what could have possibly happened to those two high-speed needles. I didn't put them in the ultrasonic to clean them, but I did go with a T-pin all the way around, and I never found any debris or evidence of O-rings or anything. So I don't know what was going on with those two needles. I'm hoping that these two needles resolve this issue, and also hoping to get this thing on the stand here in the next day or two before it gets too cold and do a run with it. So anyway, that's all I got for that. So the next segments of this video, I want to put a shout out to my friend Jay. Jay is an incredible friend, and he is the one that's been doing a lot of the vapor honing process for my engines, and he just recently coated one with Cerakote paint. So the first one I want to talk about here is this model 6001 Enya. And I'll put a little, I wasn't exactly sure what vapor honing meant, so I just asked Siri on my iPhone, and she gave me a little definition of the vapor honing process. So I'll put that up here too so you can read what she says, or it, whatever. But this is an Enya 45 model 6001 that I did a Boca bearing replacement video on. And this was an engine that came to me back in November of 2022 from a friend, Mike. He had sent me a box full of engines, and at that time he sent probably, I don't know, I think in that box there are 6 Enya engines, and I don't think that I think I gave away all of them but this one. But this one was really rough looking. It was really rough, and I recently went and I found this brand new exhaust for it because this didn't have an exhaust. So when this was all disassembled, I sent it to Jay, and he can, I don't know how he does it, but he does. If you send him like a new piece, he can vapor hone the case to match that color. And this is incredible because this engine looks with the exception of carb, it's pretty rough. It looks brand new. I mean, this is just an incredible engine, and since it was given to me, I can't sell it, and I'm not really sure that I would want to, because this is a really nice engine, and it ran really well without the exhaust the last time I ran it, and it's just fantastic. So staying on the same line as of Enya engines, this is another recent acquisition here. This is an Enya 40 model 6002, and very similar to the 6001 in that they both have strap-on exhausts, but this one has a very different coloring. It has a, and it's a very fine bead blast, maybe. I don't know if you can really see that or not. It's a different color. It has a very fine bead blast. It looks like a fine bead blast. I don't know, maybe it was just a sand cast part. I'm not sure. I'm not that well versed in these techniques, but this is a new engine, and it is phenomenal, and it came complete with exhaust that matches it, and you can tell the difference in these finishes. I think you'll be able to see the difference. This one's a lot a more platinum colored finish, I guess. I don't know, but it's definitely different color. I mean, the finish may feel the same, but they're definitely different colors. But so I've got these two wonderful Enya engines that are never ever going to leave my inventory. Yes, I bought this one, but I don't care. I'm not getting rid of it because Enya two-strokes are just phenomenal engines. So the last engine I want to talk about on this is this. Let me see if I can zoom in here a bit more. This is my Saito FA45 Mark II engine that Jay painted using the Cerakote process, or Cerakote paint, not Cerakote process. This is the engine that I had posted a video on, getting people's opinions on what colors to paint. And you'll have more information on why I'm doing this later this week. But so these are the Cerakote color samples that I purchased, and these are like little metal things. And so these were the ones that were pictured in there, and I don't have another Saito engine here with me that's a stock color. Let me grab one here real quick. I've got another Saito 45 here, because I just want to do a quick comparison. So in the poll, in that poll, I offered up these pictures and said, I asked people to vote for, which color they thought would look best on an engine. And believe it or not, I chose the color that had the least number of responses, or least number of votes. And actually, it wasn't even one of the ones I had immediately, before I put that post out, I had immediately put out, or had eliminated them down to 2. But everybody, the vast majority of people were saying this titanium. And from that picture, now here in this light it looks very different. In the picture that I sent, I just thought that this, and it's called blue titanium, I just thought this looked too much like the stock color. But when I do this, you can tell a difference, but it still, to me, just didn't set it off enough apart to warrant the project that I'm working on. And this is just a test subject for me. Well, for me, and you'll find out more about that. So polar blue is what this is, and I was actually going to go between these two, sea blue and sky blue, which they have a really strange version of what sky blue is. These were the two in my head that I had already narrowed it down to and said, this is what I'm going to do. And then when I got, what happened here? I got this engine taken apart or whatever. I just was asking my intuition which is the one to go with. And it kept coming up with polar blue, polar blue, polar blue. So I went with polar blue. And you can see that's like a dead-on match here. So that's the polar blue. That's the color I went with. And honestly, I think this looks really good. It's not too soft looking, but it's much different still than this. It'll stand out more. So this is a one-of-a-kind Saito 45 Mark II that I personally own, which is really cool. So I'm super happy that I chose this color because I like it. You know, even though I think now this blue titanium would have looked pretty decent also, I don't know. I still just think that's just a little bit too much like the original color. I wanted something that was different. And like I said, later in the week, next week, you'll understand why. But so that's what I did. But Jay, you just do a fantastic job. I mean, this is incredible. It's Saito 90T engine, Jay painted. So the deal with the Cerakote is, it's not just a thing of saying, hey Jay, just get a different color because it costs money. You know, it costs him labor time and it costs money to purchase that paint. So that's why I had these choices to choose from because, oops. Just because it was, it wasn't like an inexpensive thing. So now Jay has got this color, polar blue, so if anybody else is interested in it, I've got one more project that's going to get this color, which we'll be finding out about later in the week. But anyway, I think this thing looks beautiful, and I am super happy and appreciative to you, Jay, for doing this because this is incredible. I mean, this is really incredible. I just love this. So anyway, that's our engine talk video for today, and I hope you guys, I don't know if you're going to understand why I chose the color I chose over what the vast majority of people chose, but hey, if you want your Saito engine colored in blue titanium, reach out to Jay. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to purchase the paint at your expense and charge you for painting your engine, just as he did me. So that's the video for today. Jay, thank you very much for all you've done, and thank you for your help on this new and upcoming project coming very soon too.